We're getting ready to go here, folks. Yep. All right. There's a meeting here. Yes, Mr. Byrd. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see everybody in the audience. This is a city council work session. It's Tuesday, May 26th, 2026, right after Memorial Day. It was a fantastic weekend. 4:30 p.m. here in the Thomas J. Smith Council Chambers, City Hall, 400 Washington Street. We have several discussion items tonight. First would be the treasurer's report. Mrs. Stuker, how are you? Good.
And that's on vacation, so I'm going to fill in. This is April's treasurer's report. Nothing really looked out of the ordinary to Annette and I. We do have some deficit accounts, but they'll be cleaned up when we do transfers. I did get a follow-up on the Saunderson Heights, the one that has the large deficit. And they approved $250,000 on May 7th, so that money should be coming anytime, so. And I know the next one is in line too, but it's very slow to get repaid for that grant, so. Does anybody have any questions or?
Council, did you see anything? Anybody
Not
see
really.
anything?
Does that affect us in any way that we have to wait? We just kind of plan on it and we kind of know, right?
Usually we don't have that big a deficits though. I mean, that grant's been going on a while, like, I don't know what's held up all the reimbursements, but we've been struggling for a while. I mean, we'd rather have that money sitting in our bank earning interest, so,
Right.
because we've spent it, so. Yep.
Doesn't sound like any questions there. Thank you, Stephanie. Next up is a Cascade Bridge discussion. Nick McGregor.
Drum roll.
I'll be up here for a hot second. All right. Hi.
Hi, Nick.
I think he was the reason.
I don't know if anybody's taking the seat.
You've used it a few times.
Have I?
Yeah.
During budget?
Yeah. Makes it a lot more relaxed.
Yeah, a little more casual. Not
Yeah.
that you have to worry about that with me. So we had a public input session back in April for Cascade Bridge design. And I handed you all a couple weeks ago some of the survey results kind of condensed from the raw data. And so I just wanted to go over a couple of the things that we gleaned from that survey information and then kind of where we go from here. So the most decisive piece of it, so we covered railing, we covered intersection, and we covered some aesthetics. So I'll kind of go over a couple of those areas and kind of the why behind some of this conversation, and then where we go. So railing was probably the most clear from the survey information. There's 4 different options that we presented during the public input session and then also with the online survey. The largest answer that we are going to move forward with is the adaptation of the original railing design. So we won't be able to use the old railing in the new bridge because of all the pieces that go into it. You know, the original steel is pretty rusted, and to plan on reusing it is pretty tough to do. But from a design standpoint, we will move forward with that original look. Kind of the scope on how it fits the bridge will have to move forward. So, you know, how high is your concrete on the one side versus how tall is the actual railing, those sorts of things. So, if you have any questions on that, I can go over them or kind of the.
I remember that was a hands-down winner, no-brainer, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that, it makes sense. It's, you know, kind of reuse of the existing bridge design, so. The second piece that we need to kind of make a decision, or we've made a path forward on how we're going to do the intersection. But I want to go over kind of the why. So the intersection south of the bridge, the pavement is in pretty big disrepair, and the configuration has lended itself to a couple of issues. You know, several people have hit the Dankwart sign that's in that little triangle area there. So the other piece is that we are touching, with this project, Dankwart and Crapo Park. And in the eyes of SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Office, they see touching the park in any fashion just as historically important as touching the bridge. So to go through this public input session and gather information and opinion we need to talk about it. So I always refer to building this bridge like building a house. You know, do you want a ranch style, you know, a 2-story Victorian or a trailer house, right? So you have to figure out what you're gonna have and then narrow down kind of the look and aesthetic of it. So from the survey information, the roundabout was the most liked, but it was also the most disliked. And there was a lot of commentary on the roundabout. The suggestion or recommendation from the Public Works Department is that we focus and move forward with this realigned T intersection with a 3-way stop. Now, these are conceptual drawings, and that proved to be a little bit of an issue for people just reading that image and saying, well, the sidewalk's here or this is there. These are just concepts. So once we get into actual design, we'll work through you know, different pieces of how they align with the current roadway and driveways and sidewalk. So is that a problem going forward with that intersection? I think that it one, helps slow traffic down. It brings a presence of you entering the park setting. And we've already had some discussions about doing, it's hard to see, but kind of in that wedge as you approach the park, moving the Dankwart sign that's currently in that triangle into more of a presentable area and do some landscaping around it.
Yeah, Council, you can weigh in, but I think my biggest concern was I didn't want what we had before because it became basically a racetrack going into and leaving the park with it being straight through. There was a tendency for, well, at least as a young person when it was open, and until they closed it, there was a tendency to see some speeds up on that thing, so.
And that's the information or the response. It's hard to read on that, but in the survey, the information that I provided you, that was the kind of the answer for option 1, which is just kind of a realigned of our current configuration. So with that, we're moving forward with this. I call it the J intersection. I don't know why. That's not really a formalized term, but it doesn't really look like a T. It's kind of got more of a curve to it. So those are the two things that I can kind of concisely say that's what we got out of the public input. And the other piece of the input that I don't want to say was messy, but it was kind of confusing for folks was the aesthetic drawings, the architectural renderings that were provided. A lot of them were featured in a roundabout, and that got people focused on the roundabout and not necessarily the aesthetics of what he was trying to create. So we went to McClure and the architect and said, okay, we need to refocus this and talk about some gateway features. So we've seen, staff has seen some drawings, and we will present in a public information meeting and through an online survey again, what people like. So there's a lot of questions of why, let's just build the bridge. So I guess our perspective is we need to ask people along the way before we're already at the finish line of ready to go out to bid. Well, it would be really nice if you could do a gateway feature. Maybe we don't have a gateway feature, and that's what the public and you all decide, but we need to have the conversation, right? So there are a lot of pieces to building this bridge, even though it may not seem like it. There'll be more directed information in the upcoming public input session on July 15th, so mark your calendars. We'll be putting out more press and information, but just so you all know, that's kind of the process. So is there anything? July 15th. Is there any other commentary or questions or concerns?
Council, anything?
I'm just happy that the roundabout went away, so.
I will say it's awfully hard to try and communicate what you're trying to get out of people without a very long, extensive, like, verbiage or text so they can read it and understand it. They just want to look at survey information and just take it. So we're going to try and simplify as best we can to let people give their input, so. Anything else?
Let's go.
Keep the park as historical as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And as is, I know you gotta move some stuff, but
And one of the big concerns that I heard, especially about the aesthetics, was cost. the architect put this drawing in front of you, and a lot of people are concerned about cost. Well, what's this gonna cost? It's gonna be a $1 million aesthetic feature? Well, I don't know the answer to that question. You don't know that until you bid it out. So it's just whether or not you like a kind of a drawing or design, and kind of the input that way, so.
I think my only big concern about the features were like, and I brought this up in a meeting before, the big tower or the support structure, if we had that as a display, it's gonna be tough to keep people off it without a fence. And so then all of a sudden you have it fenced, is it really worthwhile? But I did love the single columns with the different park names on them. That was really cool, and that was a well-thought-out design, I thought. So we'll see what they come up with.
Well, you'll see some of that coming forward here over the next month or so, so.
Good. Anything else, council? Go get them, go get them. Okay, now you want to move on to the South 14th Street conversation?
I will.
Mr. McGregor? Okay.
So, as you all know, we received a petition and email conversation about South 14th Street between Parkway and Kestner. It is currently a one-way road heading southbound. The construction has impacted some of the daily traffic for those that live around that area, with summer being closed from Kestner all the way up to in between Parkway and Sioux or Navajo. Navajo. So the request is to make South 14th Street a two-way road during the summer, or during the construction at least. So I just have an image of what South 14th is. Currently, one-way traffic begins at Parkway, ends at Kestner. Black Hawk Elementary is right there. So some of the concerns from our perspective at Public Works is that the roadway is about 20 foot wide. It's a seal coat road that doesn't have any curb and gutter. The traffic in and around school let-outs specifically is very heavy, where cars are often parked on both sides of the road. You got school buses in there. So I went back to the history of when South 14th Street was created as a one-way. It was in 2002 that it was made a one-way. I don't know when Black Hawk was built.
Was it at the request of the school, probably?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have some other images. This is just at Parkway looking north, or rather south. Just kind of giving you the indication of what's going on. And then this is further down at Pawnee, kind of right in front of Black Hawk Elementary. So,
Can I ask you a question? If you made that two-way, would you have to limit parking to one side because of the width of the road?
you probably shouldn't have parking on either side at 19 foot.
That's what I'm looking.
So I did reach out to the school system and ask the question. They said absolutely not during school because of the traffic that's caused during that time. So it's dangerous, dangerous is maybe too strong of a word, to create traffic changes to a roadway on a temporary basis based on a construction project. Could it be done? I mean, cars are doing it now, to be fair.
They are. I've witnessed them because I live on Parkway, and I'm like, what is that person doing? They're going on
Yes.
one way. So
Some of the residents also aren't used to the conditions of a two-way traffic, and so they probably don't look left when they're trying to turn out. So I would be very hesitant to suggest a change just only in the current conditions, changing it temporarily for a construction project and then it resuming back to a one-way traffic. So I did invite some of the petitioner folks to this meeting, so I did say that at the mayor's discretion, they may want, if you would allow, they could have some words. I don't know that I have a whole lot else to communicate other than from an enforcement standpoint, if PD has any concerns on how to enforce that. The south section, or the section of Summer Street that is going on has taken longer than planned with some of the water main issues that we've run into. We probably still have another month on this section. And the section, as it moves north, the Summer Street project, will be just as impactful for those residents because they won't be able to use Summer. They'll have to go down Madison to get around. So with that, I don't have anything else unless there's questions from you all.
Well, I think that was my biggest concern, because if I remember right, the school asked for it. And then also the width of the road, because being out there, parking if you had two-way, one-way would be bad enough for parking, but two-way looks like it would be really tight.
This roadway functions as a collector roadway for all the residential roads that kind of lead up to it. In reality, it probably should be 27-foot wide. 20 is an awfully narrow road to have two-way traffic, especially if you allow parking on it. So
Is the whole section one-way, all the way down to Parkway and beyond, or just to Parkway?
Parkway to Kestner.
Parkway to Kestner.
So I spoke to somebody that lives on Pawnee today, and she said that,
Just to Navajo? Okay, thank you.
she said that because of the construction on Summer, she's having to take Madison and loop around and come in, the opposite way. And she said that to her, it was a no-brainer to have two-way traffic while school's out to do it during that period of time. And that way people can get in and out and not have to take the long way around. And that was her opinion. She also agreed that that road's too narrow for the amount of traffic that goes through. She said when school traffic's there, she has trouble even getting into Pawnee, and some cars just won't let you by. So she said, if I ever pick the wrong time to come home, I have to wait in the school line to go to my house. So that was one of her concerns, but I did speak to someone out there today, and I saw the number of names on that petition. I lived on Navajo for a little bit before it was a one-way. I don't remember having any issues then, and there was a school there. But, I understand where you're coming from too, but, that was a concern that I heard from a resident.
And I noticed that, the petition is for during summer break. Yeah, and I would look at signs and I would read signs and I would comprehend them and follow them as they were written, but a lot of people don't, is the problem. And I understand that's a huge safety issue because somebody will see a sign and be like, okay, this is a regular two-way, and they will just follow that until the end of their time. They won't notice a change in signs or, what time is the school zone? When is this
When does it
speed?
start?
When is this speed limit active? When can I park on this side of the street and not this side of the street? I don't think the majority of people are observant enough to follow it. And it's unfortunate because, that intersection is rough on 14th and Parkway when school's getting out because people will start to park at, 2:30 or something when school lets out at 3:40. And it's just like people everywhere and just parking.
Yeah, I was always too busy to wait in line to pick up my kid. They were gonna have to wait on me.
Right?
So, Is there, this is a little
Yeah.
unprecedented, but is there anyone in the audience who wants to address this? Normally, we don't have citizen input at a work session, but I would allow it just so we have some input. Is there anybody who would like to come up front, give us your name and address and your comments? Try to keep it around 3 minutes if you would, please. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Deb Walls. I was the one that initiated.
What's your address?
1412 Navajo.
Okay.
So I'm just right around the corner from Blackhawk School. I was the one that initiated the petition, and Mr. McGregor has been very helpful, I think, so thank you. As far as parking is concerned, I don't think it's an issue. When school is not in session, there would be no reason for anyone to park there on either side of the street. One side of the street is the side end of two houses, and the other side of the street is Blackhawk School. And it is just from Navajo to Parkway that it's one way now. So it's just basically one block of property or real estate that we're talking about, and no one would be parking on that street during the summer anyway. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? So you're wanting us to decide what direction to go here, Nick? What's your
if you-
recommendation from the Public Works is,
To
Leave it?
to keep it as it is.
Okay.
I know that there is a detour, but it's,
and we're talking
4
about a
blocks
month?
or so.
Are we talking a month, 2 months for the
Well-
detour? I mean, for the construction on that end?
I would, if you were to do it, I would leave it throughout the summer months, just because I don't know the duration of when we're gonna get to the next stage.
Okay. Yeah, because we're discovering new stuff every day right now, right?
Right, utility conflicts are a nightmare on that project.
Council, what do you think? You want to contemplate it and then discuss whether to bring it for a formal discussion? Thoughts?
Is there anybody besides me that would like to have it for the summer? I think that you hope to help those neighborhoods.
Just for the summer, I know it's confusing otherwise.
Right.
Right, so
When school
just
is in
when
session.
school lets out, open it up to 2 ways, like she said, it's a block, and you let people get in and out of their homes with
Well-
some sense of normalcy, and then with the understanding that when the project's over, or school starts back up, that it's gonna go back the way it was. Most of the people that drive through there are either school traffic or the people who live there. Not a whole lot of people are taking the scenic route to wherever the heck they're going, so, it's the end of Navajo, it's the end of, well, to get to Sioux, you
It's-
go down Navajo.
It's 2 blocks.
Yeah, basically. And there's no other ways in or out there, folks, and that's what they're struggling with.
And I get it. I struggle. I'm just like, just one summer.
Do you live there, sir? Did you have?
I live on Kestner. And
Come
Up,
on,
come up. You got to come up to the
give us your
microphone.
name and address, please, sir.
All right. My name is Dane Danforth. I'm on 1703 Kestner Street. So I don't break the law, so I've only gone the correct way each time. I've heard it's a pretty good ticket if you don't. So it's usually about anywhere from 8 to 10 blocks out of my way if I can't use it as a two-way. And just as Mrs. Walls said, we were just asking for just while school's out. I don't believe there's any summer school, anything like that. And I've got 2 daughters. They both go to Black Hawk, and I don't think there's nobody should be parking there during the summer. So, and we could put up as many signs as you want, 10 of them if needed. Just to be able, it just is a real big inconvenience coming back home, going all the way, especially lunch break, anything like that. It adds 3, 4, 5 minutes to the trip. So, that's all.
Thank you.
So I want to interject.
Yeah, go
If
ahead.
council would like to entertain this, you could put a resolution for action. Well, the problem with going for 2 more weeks or another cycle is that you're talking July.
Yeah.
So if council is wishing to take action on
We
this
need to
type of
decide for
item,
next week.
I would expect that a resolution would be placed on the council agenda for next Monday.
Which we have till Friday to do that typically, right?
Yeah, till
Mr. Byrd?
Thursday noon.
Thursday noon.
I would interject too, as the gentleman said, and I was thinking of this earlier, what we might see in terms of increased signage, and that there's a cost with that.
There's a cost.
We're gonna put those up, we're gonna take those down at some point in time, so we have to be mindful of that cost.
Is there such a thing as putting the temporary orange signs up, construction signs? I mean, let's face it, during my entire time at council, we have orange cones everywhere as you've done a great job getting caught up, Nick. So, is there a chance of doing that rather than something permanent by us?
So what I would see happen is that at the minimum would be that the one-way signage would be bagged.
Yeah,
To be removed later. And then you would probably want to encourage the side traffic more than anybody.
right.
That typically is not expecting two-way traffic. I don't know what that signage looks like, but
Okay. Would it be such a thing as look into it, get us a cost? If we could have it by midweek, we could kind of make a decision. I guess where I would be at,
Wait, no.
well, next week is what I'm talking about. We'd have to have it by Oh,
So we can
this
put it on
Thursday.
2 days.
Put it on the agenda.
Oh,
2
sorry.
days.
Did I swear? I think I did.
Well, I mean,
Well, if you're even thinking you want to entertain it, we'll put the information together, we'll put it on the agenda, and then you can decide.
I would say yes to that.
The only way I'd entertain it is no parking.
yeah, that's.
But then that's another
I think
additional
that's-
signage.
Well, I don't
Well-
think anybody's gonna park there, and that's what she said, that's just.
No, but
But
if
without
it's not
signage.
signed,
Yeah.
If it's
it
not
is
signed, then they
allowed,
can
so
park.
you would have to
Right.
sign something.
Yeah, well,
And if
park
it's-
at your own risk, yo.
Well, but I think that's the whole issue with the thing is changing, as Nick said, you're going from something that's been there for 24 years, you're gonna change it for a month and a half, and then you're gonna go back. I think it creates public works problems, I think it creates public safety problems. I think it's asking for more issues than it's solving. And I appreciate the detour. We have detours around town for almost any project that we do
Yep.
for lengths of time, right?
It's just this project's a little longer, so I understand the frustration.
And there's not a lot of through roads at some point.
Other choices.
It gets difficult.
Yeah, if there was any
Bring it
other way in
forward.
or out that was convenient.
Bring it forward, and
yeah.
we'll bring it forward, and we'll vote on it. If council, if we get to the council meeting, we decide that, we're not comfortable with the cost and changing it for 2 months, then we'll vote it down. But at least we can have a little bit more discussion in council. I would say, we all need to reach out to some of the people on the list, so people sitting in the audience that raise their hands, and let's discuss it. But I am concerned about the cost and the confusion, I will tell you that.
Confusion for sure.
I'd be concerned about that, because I don't want to, we're already short enough with our PD. I don't want them out there having to direct traffic on 2 blocks. And dealing with problems there, right? Because, it's a no-brainer, folks. If we were flush with officers, it'd be something, but we're not. So that's a concern for me as well. We'll bring it forward and we'll vote on it so we can give you clear direction.
All right, and so if anybody wanted to come speak at the meeting on
Oh,
Monday.
yeah, they can come back.
You are more than welcome
Yep,
to attend and
always.
speak up again.
Okay? Okay. Downtown parking plan. Kansha and James, you guys dealing with this?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Good
That's
evening.
Mr. James.
Did I pronounce that
Yeah,
right?
that's Mr. James.
Mr. James?
I promise we didn't actually come here for
That-
the
it
South
is Mr.
14th
James.
Street
Right?
discussion.
You all live there?
I do
But
apologize.
conveniently, my name is on the petition.
Yeah. I do apologize, Zach. I called you James, didn't I?
No, you're fine. It's okay. It happens.
I'm
No,
64,
conveniently, I
man.
am on there,
Things slip.
and Concha also lives in that neighborhood, and he doesn't
did
live
not
very
sign
far
up.
from
Hey,
it.
hey,
either,
hey,
so
you had your time. It's
very-
parking study.
Just,
Let's
just
go.
very. I just
Point of
coincidental.
order.
Yeah,
Coincidental,
coincidental.
yeah. Didn't, but I'm in favor. Just putting it out there. All
Okay.
right. No, Zach James, Assistant Director, Southeast Side Regional Planning Commission. You want to introduce yourself? I'll probably do most of the talking here.
Yeah.
Kansha Tiwari, Southeast Iowa Regional Planning Commission.
Welcome
All
both
right.
to you.
Yeah, so we're here to talk about updating or completing a new parking study. We last did, I actually brought this one from last time in 2016, and I was just checking a couple things. So actually, these two on this end of the table were on the council in 2016, coincidentally.
I thought as much.
You thought as much. You were. So they've been through this before, and I think what we're going to do is pretty similar to what we did in 2016. It's going to be a little bit different, but a lot of similarities too. But did this full update in 2016, and then we did a little interim update in 2019. It was more specifically just kind of evaluating some data in really like a dense part of downtown. But yeah, we're doing this. There's a quote actually as I was flipping through this today, and it said, there's a quote we had in here in the 2016 plan. It said, "Want to solve your parking problem, build a place nobody wants to visit." So I think that encapsulates part of the reason why we studied this in 2016 and why we're studying it again now is because we have a downtown that people want to visit, and it's causing a lot of parking. Maybe not issues, but a lot more people parking downtown. And maybe some issues, some perceived issues, but yeah, it's just creating a lot more traffic downtown, and so we need to evaluate this and just kind of keep an eye on what's going on. So, so really the purpose of this study is we're going to do a lot of data evaluation, data analysis, get some public input, and try to identify some ways to improve and enhance parking in downtown so that we can make it more efficient, make it as convenient as possible, do things for better enforcement. I know that's an issue for the police department. Try and make sure it's safe and secure to park. Make sure it's easy to get from our parking to our destination and vice versa, so it's walkable, so all these things. And maybe find some things too that support the continued growth of our downtown and kind of prepare maybe for some future things that might help any future investment and growth in downtown. So that's what we're doing. The area we're looking at, I didn't bring a map, I didn't bring a presentation, but it's generally the SPID boundaries. Hopefully you're somewhat familiar with that. Just for a general description, I would say that's the riverfront to Central and approximately Division to Washington, probably Columbia, somewhere in that range. A little bit beyond those boundaries. We did add a couple areas for this study that go a little beyond that. So we added south on Main Street to Angular, which wasn't there before. So when the Tiger project got done, there's a lot of parking along Main Street. So we added that little stretch. There's a little spot. We kind of cut off on the west edge of North Hill Park before, so we're going to include the west half there. And then there's a couple apartment buildings and bigger houses that for rent. There's a lot of parking around that block there that we're going to add. And then there was a little cutout on Columbia that we're just going to go straight across and include all of Columbia Street. So that's the area we're looking at, and we've kind of gotten started on this over the last. We actually signed the agreement for this about a year ago, but we had some other projects going on and things happening. But we kind of started diving into this towards the end of last year, early this year, taking some kind of preliminary steps. But we're really deep into it now and working pretty hard on this. So the main three things we're working on right now. Number one is data collection and analysis. So that includes, I would say, some things that are parking adjacent, things like population, economic statistics, things that are happening downtown, understanding growth, land use and development changes. So buildings that have been redeveloped, businesses that are moving, businesses coming in, businesses going out, just understanding what's happening downtown and what's been going on over the last 10 years. Looking at city code requirements, zoning regulations, things like that. Just talked to the finance department last week, got information about parking finances, so expenses, revenues, those types of things. And then the biggest part though is all the information about parking itself. So how many parking spaces do we have? What types of parking are we talking about? Public versus private, on-street, off-street, all those things. So we're not completely done sorting through that, but I did get some stats today from our inventory. So these numbers might change slightly, but the total number of spaces we identified, 3,950 parking spaces, which is a little bit more than what we had the last time we did this. We had about 3,800. So we did expand the area a little bit, but I know there's been quite a few changes actually on the riverfront, Main, Jefferson. So 3,189 of those are public, 761 are private, 1,576 are on-street, 2,374 are off-street, 2,745 are free, and then about just under 900 are paid of some type. So a lot of parking spaces, a lot of different things going on. So we'll do a little more analysis on that and those types of parking spaces. You'll be able to visualize that geographically so you can see where they're at. And then we'll do some other things later this summer. We're gonna wait till Washington Street hopefully is done, get those orange cones out of the way, and do an occupancy turnover duration analysis. So that's where we look and see, how are people actually using the spaces? How long, what spaces are occupied? How long are they occupied? How often do they turn over? That kind of information and data that we'll provide. And then there's a few other just little things that we'll get some information on, signage, street lights, things like that kind of, again, go along with this to understand the whole perspective of parking and what's going on. So we're working on that right now. And then the other part that I really wanted to touch on is our public input. So we've got a little parking committee that's made up of some city staff, DPI. We met a couple times and started to kind of go through the process, giving us feedback and input on some different things. So they'll be crucial along the way. And then we're getting ready to start on some interviews, so we're gonna do probably 40 to 50 interviews with business owners, building owners, probably some city council, city staff, churches, things like that, nonprofit groups.
Downtown residents?
Yep, downtown resident, yep. So we've got a pretty long list. We're gonna try and narrow that down to, like I said, 40, 50-ish. Get a good mix and good variety of different people to talk to. And then we have a survey that is going out, and actually Concha, she can pass these out. There's a little QR code or a link where you can take that online. And then city staff will hopefully help push that out. DPI is gonna be pushing that out here in the next couple weeks, so that'll run through the end of June. So we've got about a little over 4 weeks that'll be out. We had 350 survey responses last time. It's probably one of the better survey responses that we've gotten before. And probably, I don't know, Nick's probably got a lot on Cascade Bridge and things like that. Some of these things are just, people tend to have more opinions about. So, parking is something that everybody appears to have an opinion about, so we're expecting a lot of responses on that. And then we will wrap up, I forgot, we're gonna do, this is something we didn't do last time, but we haven't figured this out yet when or how we're gonna do this, but some kind of walking parking audit. So basically we'll be able to walk downtown with a group of people, where we can actually evaluate parking live with people and look at pros, cons, good things, bad things. But also will help us understand kind of what it's like when you're parking downtown to walk from your destination to and from, and kind of get a better perspective on that. So we'll be doing some of that. And then we'll wrap up with, Amy is gonna host kind of a community presentation when we're all done, where we can talk about all this data and information, but also some of the recommendations and things like that. So we're really knee deep into this right now, and this public input is really going to happen over the next month to month and a half. So we wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that and get the word out. And then really the only other thing we're working on in the meantime is actually the end product is some kind of document with all this data and information. So we've started putting that together and just starting to kind of got the format and the layout, and now we're just funneling information into it so that we can present something to you guys and to the community. Hopefully by the end of the year is kind of what our target time frame is. So that's all I've got tonight, unless you guys have any questions or comments or.
I guess as a merchant in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and late 70s, I will just go on record as saying I would have killed for a parking problem back then, because parking problem shows people living downtown and viability and vitality. So it's great that we're having to deal with it. I do think there is a public perception that we lost parking during the Tiger, and we actually added a few lots, so we actually added parking.
Yep.
One of the most effective things I've ever seen, I saw another city did this, is they took a thumbtack, a popular block, and they took the average space you walk from Walmart to the front door, and they did a circle. And it's amazing what people won't do downtown and they do out at a mall or it did at Walmart. So, or one of those stores like Target, because I walk forever from Target for Target. So I'm interested to see what your results are on that. It'll be fantastic to see.
Also interested to see. It's a fun process.
The thought
That's an interesting one.
that I had was that I would be interested in seeing what the head count is for customers and people that frequent these businesses or opportunities downtown, so that you can see, how many heads are coming through the door, but also see, the parking situation and see how those numbers correlate, and if there is a correlation between them. Because I would assume that some people do want to park right in front of the door, and, but it would be
And some
interesting.
people need to.
It would be interesting
reason or
to.
Me too, obviously.
Yeah, no, and yeah, so some people are, it's a necessity, but like John said, Saturday morning was super busy down there with the pancakes, and the Ignite Dance was down there, and
just
I
talking
had to
about that.
park in the south lot, can you believe that? Oh, and
gosh, you had to
I
walk.
probably,
Or, Rob.
I probably walked 100 feet or more. I'm not good at math, but,
I bet it was more than 100 feet.
oh, by the
Did you
time
take a water bottle with you?
by the time I got there, they were sending out a search party. No, I mean, it was fine. It was, there were so many people down there. I was delighted. And that there was still parking left over. It's crazy that people say there's no parking at all. I mean, you might have to hoof it for a little bit, but it's no different than shopping someplace bigger. And we're starting to have a downtown feel down here where it feels like a real downtown and a real big place. And we have 24,000 people, and it's awesome that we can have that. And my friend is a maintenance guy at one of the buildings on the corner down there. I'm not going to name names, but he said at night you would not believe the number of people that are walking Jefferson and walking downtown and how many people live down there. He goes, do you know how many people live down there? I was like, I have an idea. And he goes, it's a lot. And they're all outside. So, perspective adds to this conversation when you ask around or you go down there at different times. And just, a lot of people that complain say, there's no place to park down there. I'm like, do you shop down there? Well, no. Well, how do you know? Anyway, I'm on my soapbox.
All right.
Yeah, I don't want to take every time. We did. Nice plug. We did do that, Mayor, to your point, we did that analysis actually in this last plan. I was trying to dig through it and find it.
Yeah.
We did a couple walking distance comparisons in the last one. I don't think we're gonna include that in this time, but we
Okay.
did do that, and they are somewhat
I think
comparable
we-
to walking to Target or Walmart
I
or any
think
of
we
these
all
other
know it
places. So,
exists, so.
but to the point of everything that we're talking about, I mean, there's a lot of cars down here, and we do want to make sure that we're providing good service to everybody, and that's part of why the city wants to do this, is to make sure that you guys are providing good parking and good opportunities for people so that it is convenient, it's easy.
The
and
churches have been the only ones I've
things
heard
like
that
So,
may
Yep.
need a little more, maybe.
Okay, thanks.
So, but,
Thanks a lot,
yep.
Zach.
Thank you
Appreciate
So
it.
much.
did you want to hand those out real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Our one block is 300 feet, by the way, since we're talking about.
One
that.
block is 300 feet?
Yeah, which is not a whole lot, so
go.
we're walking
Yep.
2 blocks at 600 feet.
I wonder how far it is from produce to tires at Walmart.
You could probably map it out. I mean,
But you'll be seeing
Thank you
more,
both.
you'll be seeing more publicity about
Thank
the
you.
survey and stuff, and people feel free to share these with whoever you want to share them with.
Okay.
Thank you.
It'll be in the newsletter.
Yeah, welcome.
Zach, if you have extra, you can just leave them on the table there or whatever too, so, thank you.
We're doing social media with this too. I like to play on there a little bit.
Yeah, here.
Wait until you see the response.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
We'll go live next week with it.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you.
Next up is board and commission reports. We'll start with you, Tim. You got anything?
Actually, no, not this time.
Okay. Annie?
I mean, the downtown parking study is basically what, I talked about on my board.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's needed.
I'm gonna be flat out honest. I've been too busy to worry about it. I've gone to a couple, but I don't have a report for you. I'll bring it forward to the next one,
Totally fine.
because of my real job. Kay, do you have anything?
I met with the CVB group, and there are some exciting things planned for the summer, so we expect people to take advantage of those downtown parking places and come to the events.
All right. Robert?
BRE has their meeting this Thursday coming up, and we've got some fresh blood coming in, it sounds like. So I'm excited to meet some new faces and have people fill some new roles. And, I've been down to the auditorium a lot recently between shows and concerts and the dance recital on Saturday. So I know that they're staying busy and they're giving some of that back. So I appreciate what they're doing.
Okay. Next up is appointments. We have appointments listed, but I don't see any. I went through, scanning through. I thought I saw them when I first went through the packet, but I don't see them listed. So does anybody have an update there?
No, maybe just
Okay, well, then I'll go through the packet and see, but I don't see it. It's not in its normal spot, so. We'll move on. Proposed regular agenda for June 1st, 2026. We have a couple proclamations. First will be for the municipal band. It's their 100th year, another celebration of a 100-year long-term deal for Burlington, and that'll be accepted by Jennifer Arnold. And then it's Pride Month, and that'll be accepted by the Human Rights Commission.
very good.
Number two will be,
Mayor?
yeah, go ahead.
I've got some comments on that.
Okay.
Pride Month. the Stonewall riots are mentioned here, and it was in 1969, from June 28th to July 2nd, 1969. I'm thankful that they happened. There's a lot of brilliant people that we have within our community that fall into the LGBT community and that have been very successful in business, and I'm glad they're here. I want to make that perfectly clear. I'm glad they're here. But my concern is that this proclamation is for the LGBTQ plus community, and I want to know what the plus represents. I'm torn when I look on when I look this stuff up, and one of the items I looked up was LGBTQQIAA, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, transsexual, two-spirit, queer, questioning, intersex, asexual, and ally. And then it goes on, you go on to the next one, and they add pansexual, non-binary, poly, fluid, fluffy, gender queer, no gender, fluctuating gender. I don't know what the hell all that means. And I think by putting LGBTQ plus, we're making all of that acceptable. And I want to say there's a woman, her last name is Levin. She identifies as a old guard or old guard lesbian. She admits she's a lesbian. And she is absolutely offended that this is part, that has become part of what she fought so hard for in 1969. And she says that a lot of this has more to do with perversion than it does about gender identity or sexual identity or anything else. She mentioned that in New York City and LA and Chicago, when they have their gay parades, that men walk around with their junk hanging out. And they don't walk down the middle of the road, they're walking right beside where all the families are standing that come to see this. It's pathetic. And the other thing that she says is mentioned that is missing, and that she says that plus is a place setter for, is groomers and pedophiles. She said, and I want to know, is that what we're supporting? With that plus, anybody that looks up any of this information is going to say yes. That's what we're supporting. If we can narrow this to be more specific and to support what was actually fought for in 1969, I'll keep my mouth shut. I'll support it. I'll be happy to support it. I'll be proud to support it. I mean, we have people within this community that do work for the city, that do a fabulous job. It doesn't matter about their gender identity or their sexual aspirations or anything else. They're just people. They're just people doing a wonderful job. And that's what I want to celebrate.
Well, I don't want to prejudice them, and I don't want to lump people who may be perverts into a group that they don't belong in, because there's perverts everywhere, Tim. So, someone's opinion might be that the plus allows for you to allow another group of people in. They're very accepting. I don't believe for a second they're accepting of people who are trying to groom or pervert children. You're adding something to what that's not who they are. They're plus because they're accepting of a group of people that's been marginalized, not because they're trying to add to the downfall of society or whatever people perceive that it is. They are just people trying to be accepted, along with the rest of us who are also trying to be accepted. This is our chance to recognize, like you said, the folks that have started the movement to where they are now, and it might have changed a little bit, but so have our parties, so has our politics, so has our government. But we have to remember that they're Burlington citizens doing this. They might invite people from out of town to come attend this event, but these are Burlington people, and we know who they are, and we love them, and we're okay with who they are. So I understand that a label might ruffle your feathers a little bit, and you can't get behind it, but with the people that I know and the people that I care about and trust and love, that I'm perfectly fine with it.
I also know there's a lot of prejudice within
Can I
the
interrupt for
community.
just a
I
minute?
would like to
Can I
speak.
interrupt for a minute? You interrupted me. I was not done yet. I was still talking, and you jumped in and interrupted me. I wouldn't do that to you, and I wouldn't do that to you other than the fact that you interrupted me.
I thought you were done, Tim.
I
It
didn't-
sounded like you were.
I was not
It
done.
sounded like you were.
And I want to go on to say, did you know that 10% of the youth in the United States identify as LGBTQ plus in our community? And that, not in our community, but in the United States. 10%, and that 50% of them are trafficked. Or 50% of LGBTQ community youth are trafficked. And that's up to, they're twice as likely and up to 7.4 times as likely to be trafficked as non-LGBT communities. And I would also add that in the
What's
in
your
the
point?
legislation that
What's
was-
your point? I need point of order.
That's my point.
Let me stop just for a second. First of all, this was originated by the Burlington Human Rights Commission. There's a group of people that worked on it, correct? And they did change the wording from last year's petition for.
That I believe you
Eh.
also were against.
Hold on. They did change some wording on the proclamation. And to be honest, when it comes down to it on proclamations, they are at my discretion. And at this point in time, I agree with parts of what everybody's saying. This is, to me, this is not a huge argument. It's a matter of recognizing that every human being has rights. And they have a right to exist and live their life. And that's why I'm going to read the proclamation. It's my call. And if there's crap to be taken either way, I'm willing to suffer it because I do feel it's important. I would feel differently about it if it didn't come through our Human Rights Commission. That's why we have those folks. That's why they serve our community. It's a pretty diverse group. And so, you know, that's where I'm at on it. Anybody that doesn't want to be here for the proclamation, they're more than willing to step out of the room while we're reading it. But I'm going to read it, and that's where I'm at on it, so.
Mayor, I would
Yes.
add, you brought up the Human Rights Commission, and they did bring this forward. They did struggle because of changes even in state law and because of some concerns from last year to try to come up with something
And that's why
that
they changed
complied with
language.
last year and complied with state law because of those changes. Mayor, I might suggest that, I mean, those meetings are open to anybody to
Right.
come and visit with the Human Rights Commission. Or if you'd like them here for a discussion, we can certainly bring them here too.
Either way, the proclamation is due for this month unless there's a willingness by the majority of council to say, hey, look, we want to discuss it or change the wording on it. I'm trusting the commission. We trust the planning and zoning. We trust our other commissions that we have citizens. And I don't, because of a couple of initials, I don't see where that, I'm not reading that into this proclamation. So I'm planning on reading it, and that's where we're at, as far as I'm concerned, so. And any disagreements on both sides, that's your right, and if you don't want me as the mayor next time selection, you don't have to select me, so. Everybody's opinions are noted. I am going to move on to the consideration of an ordinance amending Chapter 65.05 of Burlington, Iowa Code of Ordinances concerning impoundment of animals running at large, abused, or neglected. First reading. Mr. Byrd.
Mayor, we'll have a public hearing on Monday, June 1st, regarding amending Chapter 65.05 concerning municipal infractions for animal boarding costs. I'll review the first two paragraphs of my background notes and then the change in the actual ordinance for Chapter 65. The city periodically incurs costs associated with impounding and boarding animals that are found running at large or removed from owners due to abuse or neglect. In many cases, these boarding expenses are paid initially through public funds and are not always fully recovered from the animal owner responsible for the violation. There are room and board costs through the Humane Society from time to time, but this proposed ordinance establishes a separate municipal infraction for owners whose actions result in the lawful boarding of an animal at public expense. The amendment applies to situations involving animals running at large, as well as cases of proven abuse and neglect. The ordinance would authorize a municipal infraction penalty of $50 per day for each day the animal is boarded at public expense, subject to the jurisdictional limits set by the court. So the amendment or the change in 65.05 of the city code, an animal owner who causes the necessary and legal boarding of an animal at public expense due to permitting the animal to run at large or due to the proven abuse or neglect of said animal commits a municipal infraction. The penalty for said infraction shall be $50 per day the animal is boarded at public expense, up to the jurisdictional maximum of the court. So the staff recommendation is that we make that change. I would also note just on the side that the city of West Burlington is considering the same changes so that we have consistency in animal control. As some like to say, animals don't know jurisdictional boundaries the way we do, so.
That was gonna be my question, is West Burlington is gonna be the same?
Yes.
Because I know as we're trying to change the formula with the Humane Society and the animal shelter, have we had any discussions with the county, what they're planning on doing?
I have not. I've been unable to get a meeting set with them,
Let me
but I have
see.
reached out to them about
Okay,
that, so.
I'll see if I
Yep.
can speed that up for you, so.
Thank you. Any other questions on that?
Thoughts, concerns?
We actually had dogs wander into the city hall last week.
They were trying to attend the meeting.
Yeah, and should have let them in.
Okay, moving on to proposed consent agenda for June 1st, 2026. First is a resolution approving nuisance abatements for various properties. As you can see, council, the list is growing already. Thank you to our staff for what they do to keep our city looking good. If you have any questions, please contact Eric, and I'm sure his group will be happy to work with you on those questions. Number 2 is a resolution awarding contract for the 2026 Sunnyside Near Bot Storm Sewer Project. Nick?
So we received bids last week for the Sunnyside Stormwater Project. We received 6 bids, which is good to see that much competition. It would be my recommendation that we would award bid to Morris Earthworks and Land Clearing in the amount of $285,462. Our estimate walking into the project was $351, so good to see this bid come underneath by a significant amount.
More than one.
Yeah, oh yeah, and paid for out of sewer funds.
Have they done
Okay.
work for us before?
We have not done, excuse me, we have not had Morris do any work for us.
Okay.
They've been in and around town doing work, so.
Okay.
Looking forward to see what they do.
Now, this isn't the project that was going alongside Aspen Grove. Is this north, the way I'm reading this?
So it's along Sunnyside, but then the pipe will discharge out and are near Aspen Grove.
Okay. Any thoughts or concerns, council?
Nope, none.
All right,
With this action, I take leave. I gotta go watch some baseball, but I just wanted to let you know that the splash pad is 100% operational, and
And
Nick
it
didn't
was
screw anything
full.
up.
well,
Nice.
it's full. People have discovered
It
it's
was
open, so it's good.
full.
All right.
Thank you.
Number 3, resolution approving final plat of the SBT subdivision. Mr. Tislin.
This is a 2-lot subdivision in the Des Moines County, 2-mile subdivision review area off of Tama Road. Just splitting a larger lot into 2 lots. For reference, the red area right here, north of Tama Road, with this black line being the city limits. So just north of town, splitting a lot in half.
Okay. Any thoughts or concerns, council?
No?
Number 4 is a resolution authorizing a contract between the City of Burlington and Southeast Iowa Regional Planning Commission for technical services for roof replacement grant. the Iowa Economic Development Authority. I believe that's something we've discussed before. Who is?
So that's me.
Yeah, Eric. Okay.
We applied for the grant at the last meeting, or approved application for the grant last meeting. As part of that, to submit with the grant is that if we are awarded funding, that we have a company to do the technical services. Regional Planning Commission has done that in the past, but we put notice in the paper and on our website to seek anyone else that would be interested in this, and they were the only one to submit. So if we are awarded funds for the grant, that they would perform technical services up to, or not to exceed 21,000. Those funds are paid for through the grant program. So this authorizes them to perform that work if we are awarded the grant funds.
Okay. Questions, concerns? Number 5, resolution approving a settlement agreement and release between the City of Burlington and Renosys Corporation, AKA Aquatic Renovation Systems, Inc. Mr. Byrd.
Mayor, Renesas Corporation is the Indiana-based company that installed the pool liner in Dancourt Pool. As council knows, we have been in either negotiations or litigation for the better part of a year or two. About 2 weeks ago, we entered into a mediated discussion and have reached this settlement agreement and release. Creates no fault on either party. It remediates or removes the lawsuit and the countersuit by Renesas against the city, and releases each party with prejudice against any actions now or in the future for the sum of $60,000 payable to the City of Burlington. So
Good job.
staff
So you got the figure we were looking for.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So staff recommends approval.
All right. Thoughts or concerns, council? Not hearing any, then we're setting the date for a couple of public hearings. These will be for June 15th, 2026. First will be consideration of plans and specs for the 2026 Flood Mitigation Public Works Lot Improvements Project. Looking forward to discussing that. And number 2 will be a consideration of sale of property locally known as 2201 Madison, City of Burlington, Iowa, with conditions. And then our future discussion items is going to be our, you get these kind of problems when you have, when you're successful in attracting people to work and live downtown. An animal waste downtown program, and then a mural on the wall of the 400 block of Jefferson Street. And that mural is basically that little parking protection wall that Amy Moyer is heading out something from DPI. So that's our work session agenda. We're going to go around and get last bits from the department heads and then council. Eric, anything else from development?
Just want to thank our Parks and Forestry staff for some of the behind-the-scenes work with activity downtown, getting tables to the port, tree trimming some of the trees downtown, and then cleaning up, making Snake Alley even more beautiful with all the activities downtown. So just thanks to the staff that worked on all that leading up to this weekend.
Here, here. Okay, Ken, anything from Waterworks today? Tim, anything from wastewater? Brittany, anything from the library? What? Stephanie, anything else from finance? Chief Schaefer?
Yes, on Saturday, June 6th, 9 to 11, we're teaming up with the Optimist Club for Cops and Bobbers. It's no fishing license required. If you don't have a fishing pole or worms or anything else like that, we'll provide all that and lunch. So if you know some kids who like to learn to fish or are really good, come on out to Lake Starker. Also like to announce the awarding of 2 grants that we recently received notice on, receiving $52,556 that'll go towards the Southeast Iowa Narcotics Task Force operating costs, and also $5,300 for replacement of bulletproof vests. It basically covers half the cost for this year's replacement of the vest. So much appreciative of the work that was put in behind the scenes to get these grants.
Awesome, good to hear.
Chief, is Cops and Bobbers catch and release? I mean, going to put those lunkers back in there?
Yes, a lot of frogs are caught.
Just thought I'd ask. Chief Toops, anything for fire department today?
Yeah, 2 quick and to the point mentionings. I don't know if you pay attention to the fire department social media, but we did drop what we're calling like a teaser video. So if you didn't see that, I invite you to go to our Facebook page and check that out. It's a teaser video. There's more items coming with that this week and in the near future, in the coming weeks and days leading up to July 25th. I'm not going to tell you anything more. Maybe at our next meeting I will. My second item is, this is a big week for fire department. I tell my firefighters I'm not going to get out of here without continuing to educate and annoy at this point. On Thursday at 2 p.m. in this very room, we will be opening up bids. They're due by, I believe, 2 p.m. And that's just a big day because we'll start to know the real costs of building the station number 3. So just a reminder there. That's all I got.
Everybody think good thoughts. Mr. Byrd, you gonna answer for Nick and yourself tonight?
Nick talked about everything he needed to talk about, I think, as far as I know. So,
Okay.
of course, the pinnacle is the splash pads working.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's amazing
He's
because
been busy.
it was having some issues, and thankfully he's resolved those. So, no, just a couple of things. Chief Schaefer has been working hard, gathering some information on some parking enforcement technology. And I would expect a report from him soon that I don't know if we'll get it to council before he is no longer employed, or if I bring it myself. No, come on, this is generally acknowledged information. But he's got some really good recommendations, and I think council's going to be excited to see those. So hopefully here in a few weeks, or at least in conjunction with the parking study, we'll see some parking enforcement information coming along as well. So, and then the Iowa League of Cities Conference in September. It's never too early to start thinking about that. It's September 23rd. It's in Bettendorf, so it's in our neck of the woods. Easy commute, but housing will go up for availability, I think, on June 1st. So if you are interested, Stephanie will log into the portal and start making reservations. So please let her know if you're interested in attending one day or all the days.
How many days is it? 3?
3
2?
days.
3 days?
Starts on Wednesday. Usually they have some community tours or some longer sessions, and then wraps up Friday morning. So
I plan on all 3 for me.
that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Robert, anything?
I wish
tonight?
my work schedule wasn't bonkers. No, but I just want to say that every time I drive around or I hear about the good things that staff and all the departments are doing, I'm very proud of all of it. It just makes me happy to be part of Burlington and to live here. And even if I wasn't on council, I'd still be celebrating you. I think that you do a fantastic job, and we're very blessed. So.
Ditto. Mr. Scott, anything else?
No.
Okay, okay.
No, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I've got nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay, well, since you brought it up, the only thing I really have is, yeah, it was a fantastic Memorial Day weekend. You know, of course, it's a kickoff to summer, but by the same token, there's a lot of honoring the people that made the great sacrifice. I know we have veterans on our board, and, you know, whether you've given the ultimate sacrifice or a sacrifice of time away from family and friends, I just want to say the city of Burlington appreciates your service. The other thing is, speaking of service, is that now that Mr. Byrd brought it up, you know, that time is coming, time has gone short, and I think we need to publicly recognize several times the outstanding job our police chief has done.